What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of Junior and the Big Dog, a player profile episode where we cover recent commits. And this commit that we're covering in this particular video, me and the Big Dog are very excited about, as hopefully, I'm pretty sure Canes fan is as well. And that's Michael Redding III.
I'll tell you what, again, don't look at what they're rated at, which I'm going to touch on, because, by the way, Michael Redding, all that happened was he checked into the opening finals in Texas. He was rated at 94.28 was his rating, okay? Literally, it must have been minutes after he commits to Miami, his 247 composite rating becomes a 92.43 because ESPN knocked him down in the ratings. And mind you, this guy
don't say ESPN. Say the SEC network / ESPN.
Right. Yeah, exactly. They knocked him down in the ratings. Now, mind you, this is a guy who not only qualified for the opening finals, tore it up at the opening finals because made one-handed catches, showed off his 41.5-inch vertical leap, ran a 4.4 and change 40. At 6'1", 195, built like a grown man already, okay? And for some reason or other, he said Miami, and of course, the rating dropped down almost 2 points.
And
composite because of ESPN.
I know a lot of Canes fam is in agreement with us that
I'm tired of that, dude. I'm so sick of that already.
Yeah, but that's proof in the pudding right there. I mean, literally, he did nothing. And he except committing to Miami, and ESPN dropped him. So
right. and tearing up the opening, by the way,
and tearing up the opening.
It wasn't like he got to the opening and then had a bad performance. He can go, oh well, maybe because no, he tore it up at the opening.
Yeah,
they showed him against a highly ranked cornerback, and he ran a go pattern, and he was like gone, like the dude was standing still for a touchdown.
Hey, before we forget, guys, like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell so you can get notified of all the videos, that we're going to be uploading. We're going to be doing these. Obviously, we're always going to be doing our long, podcasts, but anytime there's a commit, and I feel like, Redding is overdue. Obviously, most of you guys have heard that Big Dog was out for almost 10 days and stuff like that, getting his appendix removed. So we're a little behind the ball, so we're trying to play catch up. But so yeah, we're covering Michael Redding here, and these are going to be, shorter videos, player profile, breaking down, obviously with video like we always do for you guys, of the guys that we got coming in, so you guys can see exactly, what we're bringing in. So hopefully you guys like it, but don't forget to like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. We would really appreciate it. And yeah, so
give us your comments and feedbacks, guys. We've already done a couple of shows that have been suggested from you guys.
Yeah.
And you guys, first off, you're a blessing to us because you've taken it upon yourselves to help us grow our channel. And it's in a couple of months, it's just amazing what you guys have done for us. But yeah, we've done a couple of shows that have been suggested by you guys, and we love doing them. So please,
our most viewed show right now was suggested by you guys, which was the coaching staff breakdown. We already have over 2,000 views on that one, and that was a suggestion from you guys.
Yeah.
So I mean, you guys help us out a lot, and we try to feed off of that and give you guys exactly what it is that you're looking for. So, but let's go ahead and keep on covering Redding and jumping into a player that I've ever since we lost Brian Robinson. Hey, I said it right this time, but I didn't say Washington.
You didn't say Washington.
Ever since we lost Brian Robinson, I started looking at Redding, and there was a lot of traction with him with FSU. Now, the funny part about Redding is that after he committed, and even a little bit before, we obviously started to gain a lot of traction after we lost Brian Robinson, because then we started getting warm and stuff like that. But it seemed like he always wanted to come to Miami, which I thought was odd. But
I'm glad you want me to touch upon it.
Yeah.
What my feeling was. Okay, first off, when I started on my rant on the ratings, people view this as a replacement for Brian Robinson, and even though their rankings are fairly similar, to me it's a huge upgrade. I think Michael Redding's ceiling is much higher than Brian Robinson's ceiling is. Much better athlete, already thicker. They're about the same height, but Michael Redding III, he's well put together. And this is a guy who was a stud basketball player also. So tremendous athleticism, a much better athlete, I think, than Brian Robinson. So for me, this was an upgrade. But apparently, and I'm trying to this is me putting the pieces together, or us, I should say, putting the pieces together. Apparently, Michael Redding's father is a huge Canes fan. Redding actually wanted to go to Miami, apparently. Miami didn't recruit him hard in the beginning because we did have Brian Robinson, and we were looking at some other receivers. When Robinson decommitted, that we turned up the heat with Michael Redding. Apparently, he wanted to commit earlier and wasn't given the green light because apparently Miami, Jalen Hyatt, who's the wide receiver who had been committed to Virginia Tech,
and decommitted
last Tuesday.
Right.
So apparently Miami was still talking to seeing if Hyatt talked about Miami and how he was interested. Redding, when he goes to check in at the opening finals, literally tells the press that he's nowhere near a commitment, that his commitment's still wide open. He's still considering things. He literally committed half an hour later because what happened was Taylor Stubblefield called him. They spoke for quite a long time, and then Manny Diaz got on the phone and basically said, come on down. If you want to commit, let's do it now. And he committed to Miami. Right. And I'm thrilled to get him. So I think that's the way things went down. But listen,
I think you're right on the money when it comes to that, Big Dog, to be honest with you.
I do. And you know what? And I can tell you, it shows how well the staff, Manny, David Cooney as head of recruiting, the entire staff, how well they're doing recruiting, that a guy like Michael Redding, we had to think about and play all the scenarios through before we said, yeah, go ahead and commit.
Yeah.
And because Michael Redding is a guy that normally we would have jumped up and down just to get him to commit. And I think it shows how well they're doing and how we're recruiting at a different level in a different way.
Right.
In a much more aggressive way.
But I also think that we have to give some of this credit to Stubblefield.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
To Stubblefield. Not just because of Redding, but also Worsham.
Yeah.
And Worsham, we're not going to do a video yet on Worsham until he does commit. So if he does commit, you guys can be sure we're going to do a video on Worsham and breaking them down and stuff like that, just like we're doing now with Redding. But in our coaching staff breakdown, especially, before Redding and before all the talk about Worsham, one of the question marks about Stubblefield was, where is the wide receiver talk? We haven't really seen any movement, any progression with wide receiver commits. So we were just like, the jury was still out on right. Stubblefield. So, but I think me and the Big Dog both said we'll give him the benefit of the doubt because we were maybe unfairly comparing him to Ron Dugans and the talent that Dugans brought in,
and to David Cooney. In all fairness,
to David Cooney as well. So we were comparing them to those two, but so we just wanted to see, Stubblefield put in some work and bring some guys in.
Well, and in all fairness, the book on Stubblefield is he's a tremendous teacher of technique. Mm-hmm. He's a guy who, without a lot of, he did not have NFL type of ability, and he caught 316 balls at Purdue.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a guy who was a technique, route runner, great hands, did all those things that an overachiever does. Mm-hmm. So when we saw all the things about technique, well, the problem is he had never recruited at a Miami level before. He had been at Air Force. He had been Utah, I think was the biggest school he had been to before us. Right. So he had never recruited at this level. So it was fair to question how good of a recruiter you're going to have to be. Yeah. But you're right. When we talked about giving you the benefit of the doubt, listen, Michael Redding the third, and probably Daz Worsham, that speaks for itself.
Yeah. And Redding actually spoke on that he got on the phone with Stubblefield, had a really good conversation with Stubblefield, and then he talked to Manny right after, and Manny was like, "Hey, if you want to, we'll go ahead and offer you the scholarship." Just, he probably said, and I think this is the trend that we're seeing with Manny. He's like, "Hey, we'll go ahead and offer you, but let's get it done now." And Redding apparently always wanted to come to the U, and he was just waiting for an offer. So as soon as that offer came, like Big Dog said, Redding was saying that he wasn't anywhere near, choosing a school yet. And then he gets on the phone with Stubblefield, gets on the phone with Manny, and it's like, okay, you guys want me? I'm there. So, I mean, we can't be, any more excited. And for those of you Canes fans that always say that we're losing players and, why are other schools getting our players and stuff like that? We took Michael Redding from the usual suspects. Obviously, he was trending towards FSU, but we got him over Alabama, got him over Georgia, we got him over Florida, Auburn, FSU, Michigan, Penn State, Oregon. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. So we got him from all the big-time schools, and I feel like we need to put some more recognition on when we do get these players, and Worsham especially. I mean, after Paradise Camp, Worsham decommitted from Alabama. So I just feel like instead of Canes fam, and I'm not saying everybody, obviously, but I always hear a lot of talk of when we do land a guy, oh yeah, well, we should land that guy. But then when we lose a commit to another big time school, that's from South Florida, everybody likes to point fingers. Oh, we shouldn't be doing this, but you guys don't give that same attention when we do get somebody like Michael Redding, who was highly touted by so many other schools. So I think that's just something I just kind of wanted to point it out.
Yep. Yeah, let me give you the bio information on him. We talked about he's from IMG Academy. Of course, that's in Bradenton, Florida. Originally, I believe he's from the Panhandle area of Florida. So he is a Florida young man anyways. 6'1", 195. As Carlos mentioned, he had been offered by 26 schools, including all the usual suspects. A rating of 92.43, which was 94.28, but I'm not going to go into that. Pretty solid 4-star. 35th best receiver in the country by 247 Composite. 194th best overall player. You want to go ahead and give his measurables? His measurables are impressive.
Yeah. His 40 is 4.56. But yeah, go ahead.
He ran a 4.4 at the opening finals, which we sort of expected. Just so you guys know, you're going to see now when he gives you the rest of the measurables, he's a big-time basketball player. So he never really ran track. Mm-hmm. So we knew that 4.5 speed wasn't 4.5. It's considerably faster because what's his vertical jump?
41.4.
41.4 inches.
Yeah.
So it's just a young man that hadn't really ran track at any extensive part. So I always thought he was going to end up in the 4.3s.
Yeah.
In terms of 40 when he learns how to run a 40, because when you have a 41-inch vertical leap, yeah, you got some serious explosiveness.
Absolutely. His shuttle was 4.44. He's 195, and like we said, he's 6'1". So you want to give some stats on his?
Yeah, go ahead. Give him the stats.
Okay. I'll start with receiving. In his sophomore year, he played the most games. He played 13 games in his sophomore year. He had 32 receptions for 516 yards. That averages out to 16.1 yards. He had a long of 52 and he had 4 touchdowns. His varsity year, however, he only played 6 games. He had 13 receptions for
junior year. You mean?
What did I?
You said varsity.
I'm sorry.
Varsity always, his junior year.
Yeah, varsity year. His junior year, he played 6 games. He had 13 receptions, 219 yards. That's an average of 16.8. And he also had 4 touchdowns. So the stats don't necessarily jump out at you, but rushing, he barely rushed. He only had like 3 carries. I think his sophomore year for 29 yards. So he doesn't really have anything when it comes to rushing. But I wouldn't pay attention necessarily to those stats in high school. We'll see what he's gonna do now for his senior year. But if you guys have been following Reading and seeing him at the opening, especially, you saw him make some spectacular catches. You're gonna see him make some more spectacular catches in the videos in the video that we're gonna show you as well. So I wouldn't necessarily be too concerned about those stats in high school.
There's some. Listen, the thing that Brian Robinson had, much like Jeremiah Payton, that he was very polished. Payton is very polished. Michael Redding, he's more the type of guy who's going to have to work on his route running. There's aspects of his game that he's going to have to improve. Not a lot of times you see that with guys that are multi-sport athletes.
Exactly.
The fact that he was a basketball player. When you do that, you don't work on all those skills as much as some other guys do that are just in one sport.
Right.
So that's the thing with Redding. So he's more along the type that's going to have to learn. Now, mind you, here comes Taylor Stubblefield, his ability to teach technique and route running and those type of things. But the young man has a huge ceiling.
Yeah.
That 41-inch vertical leap as a high school kid is amazing. It shows his explosiveness athletically. Yeah. So you want to go ahead and get to the film?
Let's go ahead and get to the film.
Let's do it. All right, here we go. Now there you see him. He's circled with the little Gatorade flash, I guess that is. And you're going to see tremendous acceleration.
And that catch was very similar to the one he made at the opening.
Yeah, that's true.
And here you're gonna see a nice move.
Oh, nice. Breaks out, makes a nice catch. Tell you what, he has really good hands. I've been impressed with his hands.
Yeah, because he makes. Now here you might be confused. He's not the guy all the way on the outside. He's inside of him. He's running the cross pattern right there. Makes a nice catch.
And I don't think these videos do him justice. If you guys have a chance, look up a still picture of him. He is well put together. Yeah, young man looks like he's a college receiver already.
Yeah. Another great catch.
Yep.
A nice move to the outside.
Yeah, if you put your hands on him, you're not going to win that battle because he's 6'1", 195, really well put together.
Yeah, and there you see his blocking ability.
That I love. I blocks the guy all the way out of bounds.
Right.
So, listen, he has a lot of talent, a big upside, and I think it's an upgrade over Brian Robinson. I really do.
Yeah. Let us know do you guys agree with that statement? Because me and the big dog are in agreement with that statement, but I know some because Brian Robinson is higher on the stars,
right?
Quote unquote.
And he's more polished as of right now. He's more of a polished, finished product.
Yes.
Where Michael Redding, even though he's very much a polished, finished product physically, as a wide receiver, there's still some aspects that he's going to have to work on before he sees the field consistently.
Yeah, but I was excited as soon as we lost Robinson. I saw that the Canes were warm, and when it came to Reading, so I was excited. I'm like, dude, this is the guy I want. And sure enough, my dad's actually the one that broke the news to me. He called me. I was at the pool chilling, and I see my phone blow up like 2 times. And then my wife is like, "Oh, your dad." So I'm already like, "Oh man, so we got somebody. We got somebody." So as soon as I picked up that phone, and he was like, "Oh, we got Reading," and I was like, "What?" I started going crazy because I really do like Reading, and I think he has a very high ceiling.
Yes,
to be honest with you,
he does. That's where I think he has a much higher ceiling than Robinson. But when we talked about, leave us your comments, and in the comment section from scale of 1 to 5, where would you put Redding? And the same thing, sort of like with Chris Washington. Where do you think he's at now, and what do you think about his ceiling, and how do you feel about him compared to Robinson? Yeah. Because I do believe it's maybe not an upgrade right now, but correct. I think it's a huge upgrade year 2, year 3.
Yeah. Yeah. So Let us know what you guys think in the comment sections about that. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell. We would really appreciate it.
And we mentioned it before. He's going to leave up there somewhere links for all the other commits, the videos that we've already done before that we covered under the prospects of Elijah Roberts, Chance Williams, Tyreek Austin Cave. And that way you guys, if you want a little brush up on our recent commits.
Oh, yeah, I'll leave that. If I don't leave it up here in the link somewhere, I'll leave it at the end screen where after our video is done, you guys will go ahead and see either the best video for you guys, but I'll go ahead and put in the videos, that I think you guys will get the most information out of when it comes to players like Elijah Roberts and Chance Williams and Cave and stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and leave that at the end screen so you guys can have easy access to those videos that we're talking about.
And like you said, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave us some comments and tell us what you think about Michael Redding as opposed to Brian Robinson.
Absolutely. And with that being said, Canes fam, it's all about the U.
Always all about this U.
Yes, sir. See you guys on the next one, baby.
Ryan Little. Yoga.